Okay, Linda, how many tips have you got for us? How many
Three.
pieces of three? Well done. Good girl. Go
Three.
ahead.
Okay, so again, I'm going to be focusing on sales managers, and given sales managers have to do something simple that they can execute today, that's where my 3 tips are coming from. Number 1, I would encourage all sales managers to take the time to clarify execution expectations for each and every one of their people, because people need to know what's similar about what I'm supposed to do today versus what's different, and what's the new measure of success. So they absolutely need to help clarify that one-on-one with each one of their people. Number 2 is people need support to execute in these crazy times. So they need to increase the frequency of the check-ins that they're doing with each of their people in voice-to-voice interactions, so that people feel supported, so that people don't feel alone in how they're supposed to be executing these expectations. And then third is people need encouragement. And a lot of that has to do with managers having a dialogue with them around why are the things they're being asked to do the right things, and what's the proof that those are the best right things to be doing today. And lastly is to express confidence with that individual that they absolutely can do it. So it's simple and they can do it today, and it doesn't require any additional skill. It just requires some focus at this point.
Excellent. Wise words. Lisa.
Thank you, Jonathan. So mine actually, I do have 3, and they're more directed toward the head of a business unit, head of sales, or sales executives. And the first being, you kind of alluded to this one at the front, Jonathan, when you said no one left behind. A trend I've been seeing evolving globally over the past few years is measuring the success of your sales managers really based on the percent of their people they get across the line, percent of reps at quota. And, versus the typical sales manager succeeds because they hit their overall team number, but darn it, they hit it on the backs of 1 or 2 high performers and they let the other 6 fail. So this directly involves better coaching to ensure that no one is left behind and you get more of your team across the line. So that's my first one, and that's obviously a strategic decision around how an organization rewards and incents their sales managers. Second is I'd ask sales executives to consider what formalized, structured sales management and sales coaching process they have in place. Do they even have one? And I don't just mean that they've run some training. Have they actually figured it out and crystallized what does our sales coaching, sales management, our habits, our routines, our machine, what does it look like ongoing every day in our company? Good health and habits in that respect. And then third, this is one of my favorite quotes I've carried with me for years. I heard Neil Rackham, most people would know him as the author of Spin Selling and really a legend in the sales training space, but I heard him speak at a keynote at a conference, and he said, the key to turning around a sales organization really is in your sales managers. And I agree with that now more than at any other time. These are the folks that are going to make you or break you moving through this and in general. And what Neil Rackham had said is, he was emphasizing the importance of investing them. And he said, I would invest $10 for every dollar spent in sales training. Spend $10 on your sales managers. And Lisa's additional add to that comment is, I don't think that means buying more shiny objects. I find a lot of execs really like to buy shiny objects, tech, tools, more training programs. It's often more fundamental in that, but we've said it numerous times on this call, you've got to invest in your sales managers.
Yeah, I'd be very interested. Thanks, Lisa. Excellent points. I think it's quite extraordinary, and we've used these numbers before, as I'm sure Keith and David will remember, that it's been projected, whether this is still the case now, of course, given the current circumstance, but around 45 billion was due to be spent on sales technology in 2020 and less than 4.5 billion on sales team development. And I can't even begin to imagine just how small the amount was going to be invested in developing sales leaders, stroke managers. It's quite extraordinary.